And good morning, everybody. Welcome to This Mug's For You, where we are coming to you live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 and 107.7 in the beautiful town of New Orleans, the FM dial. We are here today, me and my lovely wife, Faye, and as anybody knows, it's a hectic day today, so good morning, Herbie Lopez.
Hello, Herbie. Hello, Holly. We have
Hello,
Holly here
Holly.
with us. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Do we have a link that we can send them so they can get on YouTube instead of on Facebook?
Let me work on that.
Oh boy. What are you guys doing up so early?
Oh boy.
Oh Lord. I gotta have my coffee, just like Michelle says. Lynn Fern, how are you, dear? Good to see you. Good morning, Lisa. Gonna say good morning to everybody, and then, I gotta take off. I gotta go out of town. Hello, Denise. Good morning. We're just seeing who's coming on right now. Right,
Yeah,
Herbie? You'd think you would know better.
Yeah. I'm going to,
Kathy Hanley, good morning. Ronnie Huff, good morning. Yeah, I know what you're saying there, Holly. She says, I'd love to be sleeping still. However, the body doesn't want to cooperate. Yes. I understand that one. You're laying there nice and cozy, and all of a sudden you can just go blink. Your eyes pop open. Good morning, Kelly. There's a link for everybody who's on Facebook to link over to YouTube, okay?
it would be great for you. So that's what the Facebook page is, where we get a lot of trolls and hackers.
Yep.
So it's just a suggestion. If you don't want to be, hopefully it
You
won't
don't want to
happen
be
again.
hacked.
You don't want to be hacked, or you want to be bothered by some of the hackers that like to come on our Latino page, mosey on over to the YouTube channel, which I just gave you the link for.
Kathy Hanley, you go, girl. She liked it and she shared it. Beautiful.
Thank you, dear.
Hit the thumbs up button.
Yes, and we would love for you to come over to the YouTube channel so you have the opportunity of subscribing to the show, subscribing to the channel, so that you get you get the notices for when it's coming on. So
Lynn Fern, thank you, dear.
thank you, Lynn.
She said to have a good, safe journey all the way down there and back.
Yay.
As a lot of you know or don't know, I'm going to see my great uncle today, who had called me during the week and said he needs to talk to me face to face because he said he doesn't think he's going to be here long.
So we're going to have a special guest today. And her name is Laura Lee Potvin. She is a psychic medium, a well-renowned psychic medium, and she has 2 shows herself, very active on this network that we are coming to you live from on, and she has one on Monday and Thursday nights, and we can maybe have her give you a little more detail on that. So yes, we're very excited about having her come in and join us on the show. She will probably come in around the top of the hour. Thank you.
So we got Kelly over here now on YouTube, and we got her brother Mark. Good to see you both.
Yay.
And you made it over. Great.
That is so good.
Now hit the like button and share.
Yeah.
And
You can
that's
share
not
to the
Sunny and share. That's
actually you have the option to go share it with your on your Facebook page, and we'll take it from there. We'll take it from there. So anyway, cheers to all of you. Thank you for showing up this morning. It's been kind of a wild week, and I know there's Paul and Johanna is on the forefront of your minds today. We haven't had an update. We are just assuming that he's spending as much time as he can with Johanna, and that's all he can do. And he is feeling all of your prayers and your thoughts and your uplifting messages. Just keep on doing it, folks. We will let you know as soon as we know of any updates, but we just give him, we continue to give him our prayers and our love.
and mind you now, we're ready to take over his show again Monday if he need be, you know?
Yeah.
So whatever Paul needs us, we're here for him.
Right. Right.
So keep praying for Johanna and Paul and his family. That's all we can really do right now because we don't know what's going on. Paul hasn't updated us, which I know he will do.
Yes, we just know that she is in the hospital. She needs doctors' support and work, and we know that Paul just wants to be with her, and that's all he should do. He shouldn't have to. And please, folks, I have a request. Please refrain from messengering Paul. We don't want it to do. You know, he's not obligated. Now. He's not obligated at this time to let anybody know. It's it's his. It's his battle, and
you all know us. As soon as we find out something, we will let you know.
Absolutely. So anyway, other than that, we are so happy you're with us, and we hope your day will be a good one. We always hope for that, and my husband has to go on a little trip. He has a friend that is going to go with him, which I am really happy for him. It's going to be a kind of a nice trip for him and his friend, who is also who's also a musician. So anyway, and I'll just take care of the boys at home. I have some ideas I want to do.
Well, he should have been here by now, but
yeah, and Lynn says that goes for me too. It would be good. Lynn doesn't know any more than we do, folks.
So don't pick on Lynn.
Don't pick on Lynn either. Please don't pick on Lynn. We will all let you know as soon as we know. So anyway, we do have things that are happening in the future that we are excited about.
Good morning, Richard.
The show, and we still have the show that is going to happen in Grafton, North Dakota at the end of July. We're looking forward to that. We can't wait to meet all the people that have been watching us on our shows, and we get to meet them in person. We're very excited about that. So there's Lori right now. This is Laura Lee right here. She's saying, hi, Roger and Faye. You can see her there, that lovely face of hers.
Richard, the link is there for getting on to YouTube, okay? Getting out of Facebook because there's hackers and all that, so we're just trying to avoid them and have everybody come here. Meet us over by the pond. Where the campfire is. And by the way, Richard, I saw that deal you were talking about, the other apartment building. I saw that in Ohio, I think it was. Man, it's like I said, how safe are you in wherever, you know? But what are you going to do? Oh, while the boys are away, Faye will play. Really?
I'm
Do you read what Holly said? Holly says, I tried to click on the link for YouTube and it says that it's restricted.
Okay, let me check it out. Well, it works for me.
Try it again, Holly. Hello, Leanne. If you can, dear, can you please link onto the link there for coming onto YouTube, because we always get hackers on Facebook.
But if you can't, just continue to watch us on Facebook, Holly.
Yeah.
If you can't get on, it's okay. Please don't. I don't want it to be a big deal for you.
Maybe if I had a strip of bacon, and I can lure her over here this way with the bacon.
Oh, I see.
Lisa said it worked for her.
Okay.
So here we are today, folks. This mug's for you. Well, I'd love to. I do love bacon. See? I know I was right.
Okay. Well.
Hello, Sherry.
Hi, Sherry. Good morning. Good to see you today.
Yep.
We have Polly here as well. Hello, Polly. Good to see you.
We're asking everybody who's on Facebook to jump over and grab onto the link for YouTube. Okay? And Laura Lee says that the link works fine. So, we're just trying to avoid the hackers is what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
Thank you, buddy. Richard says safe travels today. Thank you.
So everybody, just like at the top end of our shows, we always say to you that we do not endorse the hackers that come in and say, hello, darling, we'd love for you. We have a wonderful message for you, or whatever they say. They're just trying to take your money. If I can't get rid of them, just pay no attention to them, because we don't endorse the folks that come in and do that. The only people that we endorse are the people that we invite on our shows, such as Laura Lee, Paul Francis. There are others, Gina Bengston, but those folks don't come in and try to grab you from us. The reputable psychic mediums are not going to come in and try to grab you from us. No, they don't. Those are desperate people. They just want your money. We just want to have a good time today. We want to do the best we can to bring you as much as we can, as we do every single show. We are all
Sherry, YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. You're on Facebook right now, Sherry.
Go to YouTube. The link is there. Mm-hmm. I want to say good morning to Marcy. I told you would ace those tests that you had. Hey, Primo. It's not only a crazy day for you, Primo. It's a crazy week for us. But there's my cousin, ladies and gentlemen, the one that started me out with Latino Psychic Visions. And I owe a lot to that man. Good morning, Mary Erickson. Sheridan Light, thank you, dear. Do we have a topic today? Yes, it's called, Are You Always on the Move? Always on the Rush? And I'll be rushing shortly.
Are you always on the move? Is that the topic?
I think.
Is that a good thing to be always on the move?
No.
No?
Where is David? I got it.
I hope he's okay.
So here we are. Hey, Ruben, been a while, buddy. Been a while. And Susie, hello, good morning. Azucena, a sus órdenes. We want to welcome everybody here. Please do the thumbs up for us, okay? Hit the like button, or as Paul says, smash it. And then also share the show, okay? Now, as you all know, We have not heard anything back from Paul yet, from Paul Francis, regarding his wife Johanna, who's in the hospital. As soon as we hear something, we will let you know. Lynn Fern doesn't know either, so don't pick on Lynn. Leave her alone. We're just waiting. But we are at the ready in case Paul needs us to cover his show for Monday. And as you all know, I have to leave in a little while today. I'm going to see my great uncle who's 90 years old, who told me he needs to talk to me face to face because he feels he's not going to be here long. So I have to go out of town to go see him. Lisa says, no rushing around anymore for me. It's good to be doing something, but sometimes you need to relax and clear your head. Yes, amen.
That is so important to sit back and just to take it all in and to relax and to have a moment for yourself. We need a moment for ourselves every single day. Every single day.
Kelly has the praying hands up. Thank you, Kelly. We are all praying for Paul and Johanna and his family. It's rough times right now, folks, for everybody all the way around. So, also, I want you to keep in your prayers the people that were in Davenport, Iowa, the apartment complex that caved in. There were 3 guys that were missing, and the one mother. This one really got to me. They have a fence around the whole perimeter. And the mother camped out there at the fence because she said, I haven't heard anything from my son. He was supposed to graduate today, in fact. And she said, I'm not moving until I hear something. And he was one of the kids that was buried in the rubble. Ronnie, thank you. She says, prayers for your safe trip, Roger, and for Paul and Johanna. Thank you. And you know, that's basically what this show is always about, is prayers and love, you know. We send out our love to everybody. We do what we can.
Yes.
And y'all know that's what I want my church to be about too, right, hon?
That's right.
Is it the full moon tonight?
It probably is.
Yeah, Lynn said, but Lynn's ahead of us, so I don't know.
This the strawberry moon.
I like strawberries.
So.
And down in my old hometown of Poteet, Texas, they have the Strawberry Fest, but that's in April. And people think, well, no, it's still cold. No, it's not. Not down there. It's not. That's Poteet, Texas. And it's warm, usually in the 80s and 90s. So, in April, yes. Good morning, Nancy Moreno. Good to see you here. Nancy. You want to discuss anything, honey?
Well,
okay, thank you.
It's been a really busy morning, but you know, I had a question. Here we go.
David, I'm here at the office at the shop. We're doing the show right now live. Can you get up here? Yeah, I'm right here. I'm right outside the next truck. Oh, okay, I'll be right out. Bye. Okay. No, just stay at the side door. I'll be right there.
I'll get him. I'll go get him. You keep talking to the folks, honey. Okay?
Yep. Okay.
You stay there.
Sorry about that, folks. Anyway, Ruben says it's a full moon tonight. It's a full moon out tonight. I know. Stick to the psychic stuff. It says right now it's too early for me to sing anyway. Lynn says she has her strawberries in the fridge that she bought yesterday. Yay! Then you put some Ready Whip. So here we are. This has been a crazy week for us, folks, both myself and for Paul. And it's really hard to do readings when you got a lot of things on your mind, you know. But I'm going to try my best, so please bear with me. And we also have a special guest, our dear friend Laura Lee Potvin, that's going to be on with Faye. Once I take off out of here, Laura Lee's going to come in and she'll be doing the show with Faye. And Laura Lee is a reader, I want you to know, everybody, so you won't be losing. Pásale! Come on in, buddy.
Sí.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me, señora.
No ice cream with the straw? Yeah, you betcha. I like ice cream with strawberries. Have a seat, senor.
Thank you very much.
My good friend David is here, David Garcia, making all that racket. That's him.
Sorry. Everybody.
Good morning, Joe. Joe Hernandez, good to see you on here.
Okay, so, you know what, honey, should we just, Laura Lee is...
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. Emily. Who are you, Emily? Where are you from? We don't know nothing about you. And I do not do general readings. If something comes out, because see, I don't even see a picture of your face. So how can I give you anything? Everybody puts their little picture in here and they go and change the picture on their profile and it pops out. So without the picture, I can't really do much for you, dear. You just got Emily. I don't know your last name. I don't know nothing about you. Ohio's a big state, dear. I don't know what your last name is. I don't know who you are. As we say back in the old Amos and Andy days, who is you? Okay.
Hola, mi amor.
I just
Amanda
sent,
Ward, good morning.
Aquí estoy.
Let's
En la
see.
oficina de él. Y él habla con unos gente.
Good to talk to you today, Amanda.
Ahorita.
We still don't know anything yet regarding Paul and Johanna, okay? So just hang in there. As soon as we hear something, we're going to let a lot of people know, so. Good morning, Rachel. Y también quiero decirles a todos nuestros mexicanos, a latinos, lo que sea, quiero invitarles a todos ustedes, por favor, que escuchen el show que está ahorita. Y estamos grabando también por radio en la ciudad de New Orleans, Louisiana. ¿Ok? Y estamos aquí para servirles a todos nuestros latinos, amigos, amigas. Y si acaso me necesitan mi ayuda, pues aquí estoy para servirle, ¿ok? What did he say? Yeah, Amanda, we're hoping too. Believe me, we hope she's okay. You know, but we haven't heard anything. We're just as much in the dark as everybody else is. So is Lynn Fern. So don't bother Lynn Fern. She doesn't know either. But as soon as we find out, we will gladly let everybody know. Okay? From what we understand, she's still in the hospital.
There she is. There's
Good
the
morning.
lovely Laura Lee.
Is that your morning face?
That's pretty good.
I'm melting. It's over 95 degrees here today.
San Antonio.
Really?
Wow.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me on today.
Well,
No, thank you for covering for me.
yes.
No
well,
problem.
yeah.
Hi,
Laura Lee-
David, in the background.
Laura
Saying
Lee
hi to you.
helps produce our
Alright.
show a lot
Hi.
besides Michelle, and we are so grateful that she
Yep.
is willing to come in and join us today and probably
Do you want
kind
to
of
see the
boost
show
our
on this
spirits a
side?
bit. She's going to
Sure,
boost
can
our
I?
spirits.
Watch
just
that
by-
wire though.
Yeah, okay.
And then put your seat
Folks,
over
we're
here.
talking in the
Oh,
background
thank you.
here. But anyway, folks, it's great to see Laura Lee.
Don't
Hi,
bring any
Amanda. I
waiters.
see Amanda saying hi. Everybody saying hello, hello, hello.
Yeah,
You want me to tell them about my shows and who I am?
I would love
Yeah.
it. Please do.
Okay, hi everybody. I have been on United Public Radio Network for almost 4 years. Beginning of July would be my 4th anniversary. I am the host of the Angel Rock on Monday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have had Faye and Roger on my show. And I have a second show that we
Put that
started
phone
recently
down.
on Thursday nights called The Thing at the Foot of the Bed with a very good friend of mine, David Hansel, who is a very gifted medium. He's an angel channel. We have both had near death experiences. I've studied them professionally and personally for over 40 years, and I am a Canadian clairvoyant medium, crystal Reiki energy healer, Akashic Records practitioner, a spiritual teacher and mentor. I'm also a registered nurse, and I'm very well versed, not by choice, but I am in the paranormal as well. We've been on the Travel Channel's Paranormal Survivor sharing our story. So that's about me in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Dun, dun,
Wow.
dun, 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 dun.
Wow. I couldn't have said it better myself.
Right?
Well, thank you, Laura Lee. So as well, she's willing to come in here and take up the part. I know that folks are come to into our show just to do a few reads if it happens, and she's willing to do that for you folks as well. And,
Well, I didn't know what we were doing, but
We don't know what we're doing.
I listen to Spirit. I don't need cards, but I use them sometimes when I'm doing quick readings because the card always backs up whatever Spirit gets, or the message will come through and I will pick up quickly.
Whose deal is it?
Whose deal is it? Well, it depends what people are asking for.
No. 5 cards done.
oh boy,
Hello.
no,
Marcy Padilla Moran says that it's in the lower 70s in Oregon, and her family is in Canada, eh?
That's right. Well, I am right in the middle of Canada. I'm about 40 minutes away from the Minnesota border, and I'm about 6.5 hours north of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Well, everybody is welcoming you right now.
Well, thank you. You guys just didn't know I've been here lots in the background.
But it's good for everybody to see you now.
That's true. I'm so glad you had me on. Thank you. Pleased to meet you all. I recognize many of your names.
yes, she's been listening to our shows a
Yep.
lot of times, and I'm hoping that you folks will also check out Laura Lee on Monday nights and Thursday evenings.
We should, if you're okay with it, maybe I'll tell them a little bit about why they may want to tune in.
Wouldn't that be great?
Okay, so on Monday nights, I say I cover all aspects of the esoteric, the spiritual, sometimes the paranormal, and a little bit of truth seeking. Not so much over the last few years. Got to be careful what we say on YouTube. And I have guests from all walks of life. So whatever they're doing, either professionally or extracurricularly, they're making a positive change for humanity. I've had some wonderful guests on the show from all over the world. There's always something you can walk away with from the show. And then on Thursday nights, David and I were talking. I've had him on as a guest. I've known him for many years. We always say we won't mention the name of the group we got involved with. Some good things came out of there, some great people. And he has a pretty big TikTok following on that app. And people write him and have questions for him. Like, how do I access my own spiritual gifts? What happens when we die? Why do we have ghosts? Things like that. And whenever I've had him on my podcast or I've been on his, he does a pre-recorded one called Mystic Stew. People have really liked him. And so we started talking about what kind of questions are we getting from people. And so we start with the topic at the beginning of the show. When you attend the show, we make you part of the show. Because you guys, whatever you want to talk about, we talk about. We're not experts. We share with you whatever we receive from either spirit or what we feel that we know through our own life experiences. And that's pretty well it.
Cool. Yes, thank you, dear. You know what? I have kind of a burning question. I'm glad I have two psychic mediums sitting right there. I was wondering about what happens to our personality. You know, when is our personality part of our soul? Is our soul our personality? And when we go across, when we experience death and then go across, and we're there, do we maintain our personality? And when we come back, do we have that? Is that personality still there? Has that ever been asked of you before? And am I on the right track by
I
asking
didn't know if
that?
Roger wanted to jump in first.
Go ahead. No, you go.
Okay, so as I understand it from what I've seen, is we need to realize that we're here, right? We're an eternal being. We never truly ever die. And I'm
Right.
not trying to belittle anybody, but basically, this is like a car, a vehicle we're driving in this lifetime. We've had many past lives. So we're seeing life right now from a human perspective, the 3D perspective. But when we go what I call going back home, I'm sure Roger will agree with having NDEs himself, we become who we really are with our entire soul. So do we lose our personality? No. So if you were a joker like Roger is in this lifetime, I'm sure when I run into him back home, he's going to have that characteristic sense of humor and what have you. But we choose to come here. A lot of people find this really difficult to believe, but we choose to come here. We choose who our parents are going to be, who our children are going to be. Sometimes, like, say, for example, you and Roger, you guys have had many lifetimes together. I would say that you guys have a soul group. That's relatively small usually. You don't always have an incarnation with your soul group, but that's who you most commonly incarnate with. And, Roger could have been your son, or you could have been his husband, he could have been your wife. Like, you switch on roles. And the reason why we do this is we're learning and growing with the experiences we have here. We don't just incarnate into Earth. There's many other places we can incarnate into and be different beings. But it's all about learning and growing. With the personality, though, you're not going to be identical in the next lifetime with the personality, because you may be somebody completely different. Plus, we pick some life lessons that we're going to try to achieve when we have that said incarnation. Is it all planned out for us? No, we have free will. We can screw it all up. But I will tell you, in mediumship, I knew this is going to be a longer answer. Sorry about this.
It's okay. I love it.
It's a longer question. Yeah. So what I find, and I'd love to hear what Roger finds, but with mediumship, I usually find, and that was a big shock for me because I'm very clairaudient. I hear spirit all day long. I don't hear voices. I just know that it's in the mind's eye, and I know the difference between my spirit guides and angels and my own inner voice. So sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. I'm thinking as I'm going on. So when people appear to me from the other side, I usually find, if they will show themselves, because it's like going to a different country. I speak 3 languages, and I find that with mediumship, sometimes they'll give you a smell, sometimes they'll give you a feeling, sometimes they'll give you a color, sometimes they'll show you their whole personality, sometimes you can hear them, sometimes they'll give you symbols, right? But if I do see someone, I usually find they'll give you something so their loved one will recognize that it's them, first of all. And second of all, they always seem, for myself anyways, to show themselves when they were happiest, when they felt like they looked the best, to show their loved one that they're healthy, they're happy, and they're on the other side.
Wow.
And you can also come back, like she said, is all kinds of things. You can come back as a horse, a bird, whatever.
It just depends who you talk to. And I always say that, and we used to do a paranormal panel on the network. It just depends, the way things are going. We've got a spot open for a while, and it's interesting to hear other people's perspectives. But I will tell you, I've heard our wonderful producer and station manager, Michelle DeRoche, say, and I agree with her, that we're never going to know all the answers until we transition back home ourselves.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, Marcy wants to know, honey, how was I as a wife?
How was Roger as a wife?
He was very difficult.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to write a book about it, tell you the truth.
It's interesting that I even pulled this deck. I don't use it very often.
Let me see it.
That's
cool. I love that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Now, do you see how many people are saying hello to you and welcome?
Yeah. Thank you. That's wonderful. Hello. Like I said, your names all look familiar. It's not my job to do. I do make a few comments, but because I'm watching, but I'm not going to jump right in because this is your show.
That's fine. We don't mind. We don't mind. If you're being drawn to somebody, that's quite okay with us, for sure. For sure. But I mean, and mostly everyone is saying hello. And hello. I really thank you for that. Thank you for that answer, because I think I was watching one of the many shows we watch, And I think I fell asleep before I heard the answer about the personality because, you know, I think because we go in and out in different lives, I'm sure the personality develops as well. I mean, because of our experiences in different lives, and I find it very interesting and comforting to know that we choose what family we come into on the other side. After I suppose some counsel as well, we are on the other side. We make our decision. It might be a short life. It might be a long life. I don't know if we know that
Sometimes
before.
we can just choose to come here to experience fun, like have a lifetime off. Like, what you chose a pretty heavy life, say the time before, maybe there was a lot of trauma, it was a really difficult life. It can
Right,
happen. Like,
right.
we have free will. And I think that
Mhm.
part of my message for me being here, I would be called, I guess, a light worker. That's sort of the buzz term, right? With psychic mediums and such, is to help people. And I don't say this from an egotistical perspective, but help us remember who we are, because we are incredible and we are powerful. Every one of us, this, Faye, we've talked off air.
Right.
Roger has an incredible gift. I have a
Yeah.
gift, but we all have these gifts. We all have these abilities. And just
Right.
because maybe we don't remember them, some of us are natural born musicians or leaders or athletes or whatever, but does that mean that we can't tap into something else that we feel we
Correct.
want to explore or learn? And this is definitely, I believe, our birthright. We can
Right.
be telepathic, we can be psychic, we can be telekinetic. There's all kinds of things we can do, but we've never been taught to access those gifts or sort of believe in them either.
Right.
Want to say good morning to Joni McCloskey Banks, and also we have a question. I'll answer this one first.
Okay.
My buddy
Is,
Ruben.
is it Ruben?
Yeah.
Okay.
He says, when you die at an old age, or when you go into heaven, are you still an old person or a young person? From what I've seen, you pick the best time, and that's where you click in.
Laura Lee's nodding her head.
Big
Very
time. Big
big
time.
time.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. She's saying yes.
Mhm.
Um, it seems to me that like when my mother shows up, she's always like laughing and having a party. And if we're having a party, like when we're having like an event, my mother just likes to show up.
Absolutely.
And I
Mhm.
feel like it gives me when Roger uh, picked up on her one of the readings we were having for a whole other group of people, it kind of gave me, and she was talking about buttermilk, which is her favorite go-to ingredient for all baked goods.
Mhm.
Um, he described her perfectly and had never met her. Of course, that
Wow.
was impressive to me. And she was laughing, and that is exactly how she was. She loved parties. She loved to be intrusive at all parties. She had to show her face and talk about what she wanted to talk about. And but because of the way she came in, I knew she was having the time of her life
Mhm.
in the other realm, and probably won't show up a lot. That's okay
I
because
think you'd be surprised, Faye,
yeah,
because I really believe that every time we think of a loved one, every
yeah,
time we talk to them in our heads and think
yep,
about them, they can be there. There is no time and space on the other side. So they
right,
could be anywhere, a gazillion different places at the same time,
right,
because you'll get people talking about, and again, none of us, I think, know all the answers, but I've heard people say, no, once your loved one has crossed over, they can never come back. Well, they're not coming back, but we're a soul, we're an energy. We're not restricted in this heavy, fragile, dense body that we're in. And we have spiritual amnesia when we incarnate in this lifetime. And you can be anywhere, you can do anything. So you're every time you think of your mom, I've even had spirits show me when a baby's coming, for example. They'll show me by a color, and it's such a beautiful thing. They will show me just as the baby's about to be born. And not that I'm there, but those kind of play like a movie and show me kissing the baby on the forehead, handing it over. And it's such an incredible vision because it's
wow,
almost like they are going through a tunnel. I worked in the NICU and maternal newborn, and then they come out on the
wow,
other side. Like, it's so cool. But we all
wow.
experience spirit differently too.
Lorley, answer this one for Herbie. Do you think that memories from past lives pop up from time to time?
Oh, absolutely. We've all heard of deja vu.
Yep.
Depending, I've heard many a story that people have wanted to really go to. I don't know why Machu Picchu came to mind. Just anywhere. It doesn't have to be Machu Picchu. This person's never been there ever in their lifetime, but they felt really drawn that they needed to go there. You don't even have to feel that way. You could be traveling anywhere, and all of a sudden, you know where you're going. You don't look at the map. You don't look at anything. And it's like, how do I know where I'm going? And things like this. Yeah. So deja vu, feeling like you've been somewhere before. Sometimes it'll show up in a dream. Sometimes you'll get a thought, or when we're daydreaming. And yeah, absolutely it can happen. And it does.
My wife will tell you, but her and I traveled quite a bit. So many a time we've gone into a town and I figure him out like that.
Right. He does. I mean, he knows where to actually, drive to find a place without using GPS. It's kind of crazy. It's cool.
I did highlight this for you because Amanda said it's her husband's birthday.
Oh,
so
happy birthday.
I'm so sorry about the sad news.
Yes.
Very sad.
So he says Amanda says it's my husband's birthday today, but he's feeling upset because we just heard a good friend of his pass this morning. I know, it's like two emotions at the same time. I'm so sorry to hear. But happy birthday to your husband, Amanda. Absolutely.
Here, Lisa's got a good question. What if a child passes? Can they choose what to be what they look like in an adult? You know, like zooming up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because once you pass, you know, sky's the limit per se, you know.
I'm feeling too like if it's okay to add this, and again, I want to remind people I don't know all the answers. It's what I've received from Spirit. But when, say, a woman's had a miscarriage, and I've had one myself, and it's very painful, especially how much we've really wanted that baby. For example, maybe we haven't, and then we lose the baby. We're getting used to it, right? There's a lot of feelings involved with this. I'm not saying all the time. But sometimes, sorry, I'm going to close the window. We've got an air show going on. I just heard them going through and they're loud. Sorry, at the window open. It's so hot. But that baby, lots of times, maybe for whatever reason, wasn't quite ready to make that incarnation. Maybe that miscarriage was meant to happen to help with a spiritual lesson that mom's maybe going through and the child's agreed to before it happens. But they get pregnant again. Sometimes that child, that's when it was meant to be born, the child that you lost.
I've had a miscarriage myself, a couple of them, and it's heartbreaking, and I'm sure other folks have experienced the same thing. And thank you for that, because
you're welcome.
Yeah.
Take Mary Erickson's. I like that.
What now?
Mary Erickson. Go to her and highlight that.
Mary.
Oh, the bottom one. This one I read.
Yep.
Okay.
I read some. Mary says I read.
I'm going to shut that window. Go ahead.
Okay. I read some of Edgar Cayce's work, and he also said we tend to reincarnate with people we know, usually in different relationships than in previous lives. New people can join us for lessons to learn. Yes, isn't this wonderful that these psychic mediums, when they get together, come out with the same answer. I mean, very similar answers, very similar experiences.
Well, I'm going to give you an example.
Okay.
I've heard you guys saying you've had a crazy week. It kind of seems like it's been like that for everybody. And I just gotten home, and I forget, I was going to do my show. There was something, I didn't have a lot of time. And my son never does this. And he's quite intuitive, and he works with First Nations youth and adolescents here where we live in, First Nations women. And he messaged me and said, Mom, one of the kids in my program is missing. Is there any way you might be able to tap into him, or do you know someone that could? And I do. And I said, honey, I haven't even had time to clear my head. Like you were talking about, Roger, you're trying to get ready for your trip and everything else. But I was outside. I did something called grounding, which is so important for us as human beings, I believe. And then what I did was I tapped into him. But I wasn't sure if I was picking him up or not. But I was getting like he was feeling, and I never used this word, the energy was kind of muddled. Like that he was either had taken nothing like a horrible drug, but something that was not, maybe the green stuff that some people use. I'm not going to say the word on here, and I'm not here to judge about it, but I knew there was something. And there were a few other things that I picked up. And I have a dear friend that's a medium that if she sent me the lottery numbers tomorrow, I always say I'd go buy a ticket. She picked up the same things. So what was really cool, we both knew, we picked up on this, he was 14, his energy was so sweet and very innocent. That was the first thing both of us said. We both felt that once it started to get dark, he would be afraid and he would come home and be hungry. Sure enough, that's exactly what happened. Mm-hmm. Now, I only share this because, like you said, what psychics and mediums pick up, because we're all connected, right, with that universal consciousness. Mm-hmm. And where I'm going with this is when we start out with our intuition, rather than just telling ourselves that it's our imagination, that would be what I would call evidential proof. Somebody else that tapped in, that doesn't know this little one either, and we're both getting the same things, it starts to help build your confidence in what you receive.
That's good. I mean, and I think you and Roger experienced that when we had you on our show once before. You were doing some reads.
I think it was on my show. Roger,
your show.
Remember? And Roger was jumping right in there. I go, Roger,
wait a minute.
I want people to know who you are. And then I think it might have been I don't know. We've done enough together.
I don't know.
We were tag teaming each other with readings, but that's how that works, right?
Yeah, and with Paul, we had the same experience with Roger, and it was like watching. I love watching it because I can almost see fireworks happening.
Do you want me to highlight that, Roger?
Yes.
That's great.
Rachel says, with a miscarriage, are the baby's spirit still in the other realm? Can the baby's spirit show up when we get a reading?
You want to answer that, Roger? You want me to?
I've experienced spirit. It's if they're in spirit or if they're, you still get them.
Right. Yeah. Many times they've come through for Roger.
Absolutely.
And when he's reading for people, he sees the children.
A lot of times I see the baby, like if it's they had the miscarriage, say 5 to 7 years ago. Right. This little boy shows up or a little girl shows up, 5 to 7 years old, going like this, tugging.
Many times I've witnessed Roger come through with that. It's crazy. Yep. Albert has something to say as well. He says, my mom lost a set of twins before me, and I'm a ghost twin.
I'm not quite sure what he means by that, because I've referred to what you're referring to, Albert, as a rainbow baby. But I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Did you pick something up on that, Roger, with what a ghost twin might mean?
It threw me when I saw that. I said, a ghost twin. I said, you just...
I mean, I don't know if he's the ghost twin or...
Right.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. We just need a little bit more information.
We need a little more stuff from that, Albert.
It's almost like you have 3 entities, okay? 2 of them are gone. Albert's here.
So almost like a triplet, say? Almost like a triplet.
Yeah, exactly.
Roger? Yeah.
Exactly like that, yes. Now, a lot of this is going into miscarriages and all that, which don't include me, and I got to get on the road. Okay. So you can pull me out of there, and I want to say thank you, everybody. Stick around because Laura Lee is one heck of a reader, and my wife is really getting good.
She is good. I've been telling her that, off air. I've been telling her you can do this, and I know you can, and you're incredible.
Thank you.
So I'm going to sign off real quick. Like everybody in San Antonio that used to watch TV in the old days, there was a guy named Captain Gus, and his thing was this. He would always say, mind your manners and do the do.
Good words. Would you like to do the show's ID, honey, for a minute while you're here? It's about time.
You've been listening to we got a thing. We've been coming live to you. Well, that is kind of live anyway.
Oops, wrong one. Sorry.
This mug's for you, and we are live right now. I got to hit the road, but we're thanking everybody on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Network, 105.3, 107.7 FM on your radio dial. In the beautiful town of New Orleans, which we plan to visit.
I'm going there one day too.
Okay, Laura Lee, come on with us.
Yeah, maybe the 4 of us can go down there.
Drive on down.
I
We'll
would
meet
love
you.
to go. Well, we'll see. We'll have to see. I haven't done any traveling lately. We'll see. But Roger, safe travels to you. You and your
Thank you,
uncle are in my
dear.
prayers. And yeah, Faye and I are still going to hang out here. So safe
Yeah.
travels. So you
For
let me know
those
when
of
you
you
want me
who
to take you
don't
out.
know
I'll
why
take you.
I'm leaving, I have a great uncle, 90 years old, who called me and said he has to talk to me face to face because he doesn't feel he's going to be here that long. So I have to go out of town to go see him. And I thank everybody for understanding. Please continue to pray for Johanna, Paul's wife. Just think good thoughts, okay?
Think good
And
thoughts.
hopefully we're ready to take over his show on Monday if we have to. Okay? I want to link in for the meeting, so if that's possible, while I'm on the road.
Okay. Well, Faye, you'll probably get sent the link. We'll talk about it after, but you'll
Okay.
probably tune in.
Hasta burritos, everybody. Stay with them and have a great time. And I'll see you, Monday or Wednesday.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll
Safe
be here.
Love
travel.
y'all. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. It takes such a long time to say goodbye, doesn't it?
That's okay. I'm going to take him out of here. Hang on. Hang on, Roger. I'm working on it. Okay. It's such a terrible thing. You know, it says kick from studio.
Kick from studio?
Kick from studio. Yeah.
He can leave from
Kick
studio.
the guest. Just kicked him out.
I love that. Kick the guest.
I know, but it sounds so awful. Kick
Oh,
from studio.
I kind of love it.
Hmm.
Just kick him. No, I'm kidding. But
So
anyway,
Albert did explain what he was talking about, and I was thinking that's what you meant, Albert.
right.
Do you want to read it, Faye?
Yes, Albert is expanding on what he meant by
Ghost twin.
ghost twin. My brother was stillborn and I survived. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, makes sense. I thought that's what you might have meant, but I like to ask people because people have different meanings for different terminology, right? So,
yep.
interesting.
He also adds another at the bottom. Can you see that, Laura Lee? When I told my mom we were going to have twins, she got scared for us. Then she told me about the 3 sons she lost. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's tough.
It's a scary thing.
Yeah. Oh, and Lynn Fern is adding that I am a twin, but my twin brother lived an hour then passed. Apparently, I used to sit really quiet, then be a little horrible kid. My dad used to say, John Allen, get out of her. Okay.
Well, I will tell you, working in the NICU, when we knew we were going to be going back to the delivery, we used to just pray, and we weren't all religious. It just little boys are very sick, way more than little girls are. My theory has always been, you're asking why. My theory's always been, you could have a whole village of women. How many men do you need to propagate the species?
Oh, wow.
You need the women, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean it so crassly, but if you think of it, it makes sense, right?
Yes, it does.
There's way more than obviously boys are sicker than girls, but we have always found that. No, is it scientifically proven? I don't know, but I do know when we worked back there, if we were going to have a sick little one, don't get me wrong, we got some sick little girls too, but it was usually little boys.
Hi. Bye.
Bye, Roger.
What I said is so hard for him to say goodbye.
That's okay. I think it's hard for anybody that we love to say goodbye. No, you're not coming up here. My dog makes an appearance, and I have my grand puppies here today too. But they haven't come upstairs. I think they're driving my partner Dell crazy downstairs. Sherry says both my boys were in the NICU. The nurses are the best. Well, thank you for saying that. It's a high stress area. I loved working there though.
Yeah. Okay. So if anybody has any other questions or has any other experiences and that they want to ask of Laura Lee, please feel free to do it. She's very experienced as a psychic medium, very
I don't always do mediumship, but I know there's going to be people asking. The reason why is it takes me usually a little bit of time to connect. Not always,
right?
Sometimes. And then it's usually pretty personal, the stuff that comes through.
True.
One thing I will share with you, though, that's kind of interesting. When I was a little girl, and I've always been connected, I just didn't realize, even when I was a nurse, having incredible things happen and what have you. But I remember, and I remember my guide, I remember the name. I didn't know she was my guide. And she always told me I was going to have 3 little boys. And she told me the names. And when I was 16, I was told I'd never have children. I'd never be able to have them. So I went through all kinds of fertility stuff. I had my first child, and I was told that my boys would be named as a little girl, Jordan, Justin, and Jared. And I'm 58. Like that, those were not common names back when you're 3 or 4 years old, right? We're talking
No.
late 60s, early 70s. I did indeed want to call my first son Jordan. My husband at the time said over his dead body, he loved X-Men, and the only thing he would agree to was the name Logan. My middle child, I'm saying middle child, he's my youngest child, and second son, he's the one I've talked to. Well, if I've been on your show, but I have a son with severe autism that's an adult. He indeed is named Justin and Michael after Archangel Michael. I had a miscarriage quite late in life. And my third, we had always thought it was a little girl, but I've had many a reading that I have a little boy around me, around 2 years old. So I do believe that that's probably the child I lost.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So Susie Ramirez, Azucena.
Let me find her.
Her name. Can you see her?
It's okay. I'm just going up. Is it higher up?
Well, it starts with A-Z.
I see Azucena Ramirez. It
Yeah.
says Safe Travels Roger. So it's lower down than that, right?
Okay, yeah.
Let me see. Oh, I see her. I was pregnant. Is that the one?
Yes.
Okay.
Susie says, I was pregnant and I lost my baby. When I went to get checked, they said I was pregnant with another child, and she used to talk to dead people, and that scared her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, what I'll share with you, because I do work with the paranormal and people having problems and issues, the first thing I will ask people, I have a whole questionnaire, and it is, do you have pets or do you have small children? And if you look this up, you can see hundreds of videos of little ones that are talking, it seems like, to nobody there, or you got a little one sitting on the floor, they're not even verbal yet, and they're laughing and giggling. I just seen the most profound video, and there's no way you couldn't be in tears. It's a little guy, and the mom's videoing him, and he doesn't have much language, you can tell yet, but apparently his dad had passed like about 6 months before. And so mom's filming him, and he keeps looking around the corner going, Dada, 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 and he's laughing and laughing. Then he looks back at the camera and he's pointing at a picture of his dad holding him as a newborn, and he keeps going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, do we know that it was his father? No, but we are talking about a small child under the age of 1 that has the wherewithal to at least say Dada. And he's laughing and giggling as he's looking, and then pointing to the picture of him with his dad when he was little.
Wow, that's profound. And my daughter, I have 2 daughters that are quite intuitive. My second child, I'll stay with her. She, as a small child, did have an imaginary friend.
Oh, I was just going to go there with that. You're reading my mind. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. Right. Well, of course, you're reading my mind, probably. Anyway, and she named her. It was her imaginary friend was named Shelly, and I made sure I embraced it. I didn't know enough about raising children, but I knew that my child, all I knew was that she saw what she saw, and I believed her. And and we set a table for her, for Shelly. We, and she did really talk to her. And she said, well, my friend Shelly says this, Mom. And I said, oh, really? That's pretty cool. And it lasted, she was only 3, and it lasted for maybe a few months. But she, as a teenager, also had very vivid dreams, and was at one time one of her dreams, and she would tell me about her dreams every single day. And of course, you're busy as a mom, and you've got 2 other kids going on, and I stopped and I listened to her dreams. And one of them was where a friend of her, a boyfriend of a friend of hers, was at the foot of her bed, which was in spirit. And he said to her, take care of, and I don't remember the girlfriend's name. Take care of Missy.
Yeah.
Take care of Missy. And so Erin woke up in the morning and told me about her dream, and then found out really soon that that young man died that evening in an accident, and it was profound. It was a profound experience. Now, my daughter Erin is not a practicing medium or psychic, but she knows she has the gift, and she and Roger have had many talks, and she's not ready to take it on.
And that's okay.
And that's okay. She's a beautiful lady. She's a beautiful mother, and has had a very, let's say, challenging life, but is in a really good spot right now and having a great career. But, she knows a lot, and I really respect her for what she always
And
did.
that happens, Faye, that we will have somebody that, this young man must have known the bond of your daughter with, we'll say, Missy.
Yes.
And knew he was leaving. And the other thing is he probably knew that she would hear him, see him, feel him, and take it seriously. But I want to commend you as a mother, because I work with a lot of mothers and fathers of children that are seeing spirit, or they're not quite sure what's going on. And part of the thing that I think you did so beautifully was you didn't say to your daughter, that's just your imagination. And you honored what she was seeing and what she was experiencing, because I do believe children experience and can see spirit very clearly, whether they tell us or not.
Right.
And that's what's important, is to ask your child, what do they look like? Where do you see them most? What do you guys like to play?
What are their names?
Yeah, what are their names? What do you talk about? Because you get a lot of information. Sometimes it's guides, sometimes it can be other things, but it's very important. Plus, the other thing I love what you said is she would come down and tell you about her dreams, because we get so much information from the dream state. And when we start younger, especially, and we start making a habit of either keeping a little bit of a journal or talking about it, I think it really helps with recall, because there's a lot of information that comes through your dream state. So good on you.
Well, thanks. I myself, I have not had the experiences. I don't remember them like my daughters did. But I do respect those who have. I mean, I always
But you know what? Okay, so I say I try to walk the walk of the talk that I do. I have, believe me, between crystals and books from authors I'm going to interview and what, I keep a bunch of books by my bedside, because I also don't always remember my dream state.
Right.
So before and I've had spirit wake me up and say, write this down. And I'm arguing with them half asleep, going, oh no, I'll remember. And then I don't remember. By the time my feet hit the ground, we run to the bathroom or grab the coffee or whatever we're doing. So what I encourage people to do, actually I had somebody on my show that did a lot with dreams. She's really interesting. What I loved what she said, and I believe, is the only one that knows how to interpret your dream is you, because you're the one that had it. You can go to somebody telling you what a dream means, what they think it means, but deep down, whether you want to call it your higher self or your subconscious, you know what it means. And you may not know initially, but if we get into a bit of meditation, we can ask about it, or even easier, if we don't meditate, before our feet hit the ground, write just a few words down, what we were dreaming about. It doesn't have to be a novel. And then I believe, honestly, and I proved it to myself, when we go back, it might be a couple months back, a couple weeks, a story starts to emerge and information starts to come through, and it is absolutely profound.
Wow. Well, I have a little notebook next to my side of the bed. So thank you for that. I have a lot of things that I have been learning. I've been reading consistently. I got to catch up with you, Laura Lee.
We got
up with your I want your book list.
You want my book? Well, okay, I'm going to tell you something. Okay. I love to read, and if I get into a good book, I can't put it down. I just don't have the time. So you know what I do? I multitask. So I keep saying to this app, okay, and this website, I keep joking and saying they should sponsor me with the amount of people I've told. I'm going to tell you guys all about it. It is called scribed.com.
What is it again?
Scribed. I'll try and write it in the chat. It's scribed.com. And what it is www.s as in Sam. I better not because I haven't got my volume turned down. I'll try and remember after. C as in cat, R as in Richard, I, B as in boy, D as in dog.com.
So it's scribed.
Scribed, but there's no E at the end, like not ED. It's scribed. So it's SCRIBD. There's no E.
Okay.
Okay, there's an app for every type of phone, and there's a website. Now, the reason why I love this app is because the first 30 days is free. After that, it's only $8.99 per month. It's unlimited audiobooks, written books, documents, sheet music. They are starting to carry podcasts and magazines. I have found so many books in there that are out of print, even that are there. There is no limit. I have lists. I share it with my partner even. He's got his own lists he makes that he can use. And so what I do is, especially if it's audiobooks, and I've talked off air, I also work on quite a bit of resin. Like this is a journal I just made. It doesn't do it justice, but it's made out of resin, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm always doing that, but I've got something I'm listening to. So if I can find an audiobook, that's how I'm doing my reading. Is an audiobook or documentary.
Yeah, you're multitasking because you're
so your first 30 days is free.
Okay.
You can check it out. And if you don't like it, cancel it. But if not, I am telling you that has saved me thousands and thousands of dollars in books. And then if I find a book that I'm using a lot, like in my healing practice, I use a book by Ina Segal called The Secret Language of Your Body. I went out and bought it because I know I'm going to be using it. I don't want to be looking it up on my phone. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good. I'm writing things down too right now. Thank you.
Thank you. You did put it in there. Thank you, because I knew I couldn't. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I did. I just did that on our Latina Psychic Visions page.
This was a question for us. I don't know if there's a few. Do you want me to highlight that one? Because there's some really good comments.
Okay, so Kelly says, we lost a dog 1.5 years ago, and now we have a puppy. Is it possible that the soul of our past dog can be in our new puppy?
Okay, so that's an interesting question, depending on who you talk to. I've had people tell me that your pets can't reincarnate and come back to you. I don't believe that. I believe that they can.
Yes.
I also believe that you don't get the pet that you want, you get the pet that you need. And many times they pick you out. Whether you believe it or not, they do. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, I believe that pets, dogs, cats, you name it, are earth angels. If you ever want the epitome of unconditional love besides a very young child, look at an animal. They accept you for who you are, no matter what you do, and they just love you. So they're also here. Like, remember we were talking about when we incarnated in this incarnation where we're here, and every one of us is here for a reason. Nobody's here by accident.
Right.
So animals also are part of the agreement to help us say we've decided that we want to learn patience in this incarnation, one of the things. So we make
Roger's dogs are making me learn how to be very patient.
Okay, so there you go. You get a dog. Okay, that's what I always say. Say you want to learn patience. More than likely, you are not going to end up in some Buddhist monastery meditating 24 hours a day. You're probably going to have a life full of people pushing your buttons, trying your patience, because you're going to get those opportunities to start practicing what you hope to achieve.
Breathing.
So the dog, I was just going to add the dog. That I would say that this dog, just feeling into it, is not the spirit of your previous dog, but may very much be on the same page, maybe same a lot of personality traits and what have you, to still help you achieve that maybe his predecessor wasn't able to help with just yet. But you know what? I'm not going to say that with 100% certainty, because for you to ask that, you're wondering, I'm guessing you're probably seeing a lot of similarities in this new puppy that were in your previously beloved pet that's at the Rainbow Bridge. I don't know if that helps or not, but sorry, Faye, I cut you off there.
No, I love what you're saying about pets, because I didn't know this before. I do love dogs. I do love them very much.
I love them too.
I've never had the experience of having a Chihuahua before or a terrier. So I'm used to big dogs, and when you say sit, stand, squat, whatever, they'll do it. And I'm kind of, you have to be with the Chihuahua. You negotiate.
This network has so many people that have Chihuahuas. I think we're going to call the UPRN Chihuahua Network.
I mean, and now I realize, and if Roger's listening to he says that
Okay, we got a scammer here, Faye.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to try. Sorry, I'm going to hide it. I meant to, but.
Okay, I'm going to try to do it too. But anyway.
It's on your page, so.
Yeah. I'm blocking you.
I can keep talking while you're trying to do that if you want.
Thank you.
Because Richard Dearden said, also your past loved ones get your pets too. Well, they do, right? Like I've worked a lot in palliative care too. I'm actually writing 3 books, and the last one is collecting stories from nurses, some first responders, but the incredible, miraculous, amazing things that we see at the end of life. As I say, our loved ones transition from this life back home. And you'd be surprised if you ever say go to a medium and have a reading and you want to find out, say somebody that you dearly love is terminally ill and it's their time to go. What has shown up at the bedside, like that they're seeing, that they're waiting for them. I was listening to someone recently talking about there was a goat and a snake and then, loved ones and whomever, but it was animals that they had loved in their lifetime that were waiting for them. They were there to welcome them home. So you will hear that, especially in palliative care, right? And people think that their loved one's hallucinating. Usually happens about a week or so before, and they start talking about they may be seeing angels or seeing, somebody that's been passed in spirit. And the other thing I'm writing about, I call it the gift. Now, not everybody gets this. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong with it. It just means that it was meant to happen with this experience. And what it is, the person may be in a coma, very close to end of their life, and then all of a sudden, they're completely lucid. They're completely like how they were before they were ill. Sometimes it's a minute, sometimes it's 5 minutes, sometimes it's 8 hours. And it's like you get to have those conversations and finish off maybe some unfinished business that they weren't able to do. No, it does. I really want to make it clear, though, if you have not experienced that with a loved one, it does not mean there's anything wrong. It just means that was meant to play out then. But I will tell you, I had one patient in particular. I hurt my back when I was working in the community in palliative care. And this happened with their loved one. And they thought a miracle had occurred because he had been completely comatose and almost ready to leave. And it was about 8 to 10 hours. And he seemed perfectly like how he wasn't even sick. So that was a very difficult conversation, having to support them, but it's really interesting.
Yes, that's fascinating. That is so fascinating. And I think what brought me closer on the walk of getting into metaphysical things, way before I met and married Roger. Was the experience that my sister and I had with our older sister, Carol, who had cancer, esophagus, and breast cancer.
Terrible.
And she was in her last days and was going in and out of consciousness. And we could see the expression on her face from pain and anguish to complete bliss and peace. And so I was like wondering and mesmerized by it. My dear sister Linda asked her, "What are you experiencing, dear Carol? What is happening? I see you going in and out." And Carol would say, "Oh, it's so beautiful."
So beautiful, yeah.
And she would say, "They're all there. There's a white, I'm seeing the white light and the colors are so beautiful." And then she says, "But I can't tell you anymore." And I felt like she told us what she told us, but we were not privileged to know more. I felt like that was her message to us. It's not time for you to.
It's not your turn yet. We want you to have the surprise when it's your turn.
She wasn't being selfish. It's just like, I'm experiencing this and it's beautiful. And we were just crying in amazement. And it was it was a beautiful time that we had with her. I can't tell you. It was, and this kind of made me read a book, Life After Life by Dr. Moody, I believe, and it was very comforting. And then I started to question a lot of things that I was learning in the traditional religious realm, that there's more. I mean, thank you for what I've learned, but I feel like there's more. I can't just accept, what I'm hearing in church every day. I need to look more. And then, okay, so that's my journey, and
I change my perspective with the more people I meet, the more I learn every day. For example, I always used to say, and even quite recently, that I have no, it's not my job to judge. And I feel religion is a man made principle and what have you. And then I started listening, found a really incredible podcast called The Next Level Soul podcast. They cover all these aspects of spirituality, whether it's near death, it's channeling, it's healers, it's people that are self-help, positive motivators. Really interesting. It's on YouTube. And I heard a couple different podcasts and I went, yeah, they're right. And one guy was talking about, say you're a parent and you lost your kids and you weren't able to see them. Maybe you had a breakup and you were separated. You tried everything to get them back and you couldn't. And all of a sudden you knew they were adults. You get this random phone call and the kids say, hey, mom or dad, I'm just down the street. Can I come and see you? And you're going to say, of course. And the whole thing, the reason why they were telling this story, when they drive up, what car were they driving? And the whole thing was, do you really care? And the point I'm going with this is, it's whatever brings you closer to why you're here, to God, to source, whatever you want to call it. Whatever way you get there, doesn't matter what vehicle, basically. So I've changed my idea about religion. I had always said that, some people need it. I was raised Roman Catholic. I now my belief is God and I'm more spiritual. But I really love that because, if it does bring you to the principles of loving one another, treating others the way you want to be treated, does it really matter what vehicle you use?
No, it doesn't. And I feel like there's so many of you, we have so many wonderful prophets in the past, and I don't really mean for this to go to a religious thing, but I mean, we can take the teachings and everything from what Jesus has given us, Buddha. I mean, all of these, the Dalai Lama, what he has to say, they're all very similar, aren't they? They're all very
ascended masters. Yeah, they were human before.
Ascended masters, and I respect them all.
Can we answer this question here?
Absolutely. Okay? Sue is saying, I have a friend with anorexia. She is in a real bad way, and in the last few weeks has been talking about spirit and seeing past people around her. I feel she might be almost passing.
I wanted to answer that, if that's okay.
Absolutely.
And what I'm going to share with you is the only person who knows exactly when they're going to pass is your friend. And I hear that what you've written there is with deep love. And she's so lucky to have a friend like you. But I'm almost feeling that what she's seeing in the way of spirit and past people around her, that they're giving her some spiritual connection, advice, conversations possibly that need to happen. And I guess it'll be up to your friend to decide what she does with that knowledge and where she goes with things, right? So although it may feel, and anorexia it's a horrible thing to go through, and you feel so helpless, those around that really love that person. That's kind of more what I feel. And I don't know your friend, but just energetically, that it's almost like it's some encouragement and conversations that need to happen to maybe help her make the choice, should she choose to get onto the path of wellness.
Yeah. Very, very true. Very good. Thank you. Thank you for noticing that. And so good luck with your...
Good luck, yes.
Definitely good luck.
Well, we all hope that, right? And I always say, even though we go on forever and we never truly die, each and every one of us would rather choose to have our loved one physically before us. It's very comforting to know that somebody is in spirit and they never truly leave us, but it is nowhere near the same. So I hear what you're saying, and definitely will
Absolutely.
send prayers and energy for your friend. Definitely.
And
Mhm.
thank you, folks, for joining us today, and thank you for coming in and being with us while we're going through a little bit of a trying time, a trying week. And Laura Lee, thank you for being with us on the
Oh, I
show.
love being here. Thank you for having me.
We're not done yet, but I just wanted to put that in there that you've given us so much information, and folks, if you have more questions, please feel
Mhm.
free
Or
to.
from spirit, if there's something, if I
Yes,
can answer it, I definitely will.
yes.
We do have a good comment here. We're going to go, it's going back a little bit, but I thought it was
All
kind of
right.
cool.
Gracie is saying, a couple months ago, I woke to an uncle's message to send him flowers. In my mind, I just thought, why would you want flowers? Then heard, for my girls. He died that early morning, I
He died
learned.
earlier, yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Isn't that
Wow.
beautiful?
Yes.
So it sounds like he connected with her. She didn't know he had passed already, and he said,
Right.
"Send flowers," right? And she's going like, "Why do I need to send flowers?"
Wow.
And she
You
found
were
out why
connecting.
after.
You were so connected.
This is the
If
one I meant to highlight, but obviously we were meant to see this. This is about the imaginary friend. Sorry, when it didn't stay, my computer likes to
Okay.
act up.
This is Ronnie Huff. Hi, Ronnie. My daughter used to talk to someone and she called him Frank, and she talked to him for several years. It started when she was 3 years old. Found out Frank was a great grandfather.
Isn't that incredible?
Wow, Ronnie. Wow. That's
Mhm.
awesome. I
Yeah.
don't know who, I don't know for my own daughter, I don't know who Shelly was. I I don't know who that was.
Oh,
That,
that's okay. I tell
and,
people, so she says, so nice to meet you, Laura Lee. Sorry if I spelt your name wrong. You know what?
oh,
Most people can't even remember what to call me because my name, I'm not German. But my father, for some reason, it's very morbid where my name comes from. It comes from Greek mythology. The
wow.
Loreleis, even though I'm
Mm,
Laura Lee,
mm-hmm.
used to be these beautiful sirens and witches that used to go up on top of the rocks and sing the siren song and lure sailors to their death. Isn't that a horrible, horrible story?
Kinda, but well, whatever. You're still beautiful, and
Oh,
you're
well,
bringing
thank
such joy.
you.
Yes. Um. So I wanted to let me. What did
We've
I
got a few
see?
questions, but you go ahead,
Yeah.
Faye, wherever we
What
got
can you
that.
say? This is great, Rachel. I like what
Mhm,
Rachel's asking. What can you say about sleepwalking? Aaron did that too as a baby. Did a
mhm.
lot of sleepwalking. My gifted child. But I would like to hear what you say, Laura Lee.
Well, I think there's a variety of reasons why we sleepwalk, right? And do I think that somebody's necessarily having a spiritual encounter with someone when they're sleepwalking? No. I truly believe, could it happen? Possibly. But like we've all seen people sleepwalking that it looked like they're having a conversation with someone, so they could be. But I also believe that anybody that sleepwalks and continues to, usually there's nothing wrong in any way. Sometimes people have a sleep disorder. Most people don't remember sleepwalking.
Mm-mm.
And I really believe that they are kind of interacting and playing out their dream state is what they're doing when they're
Okay.
sleepwalking. So I can't say that there's necessarily anything spiritual. I'm not saying there isn't, but on
Right.
the whole, from my medical knowledge, and I can't diagnose nor do I ever give out medical advice as a nurse, but from what I've seen in the studies out there, that's what seems to be taking part, is what's happening.
Well,
What's
that
your
makes
thoughts with your daughter doing it? What did you feel?
what when my daughter was doing it, who has
The
this gift.
sleepwalking, what was your thoughts on that when
Oh
you
well, she
witnessed it?
was, as I remember it, she was quite young, and she was like 2,
Mhm,
and barely talking. So I
mhm,
mean, some talking, right? And she did it a couple of times, and she did it when she was later on too.
mhm,
So I didn't think much about it then, but now I'm reflecting, and I think that because she had such vivid dreams and she would
mhm.
remember them,
Yeah.
that I think I kind of can tap into what you're saying about they're really interacting with their dreams.
And they could be tapping into, like, I know there's been some studies and information on children that have night terrors, for example, and that is absolutely horrifying. My eldest son had them, and they don't even know where they are. And I'm starting to see and almost feel like these kids are reliving certain parts of, say, a past life when it's happening.
Okay.
Not all the time, but it could be part of it. It could be, something traumatic they remember. Because kids, I think, are really tapped in spiritually because they live in the now, right?
Yes.
And then they get older and they start to lose that. But as children's work is play, right? And they live in the now. They don't have bills to worry about. They don't have any of these things. And they're meant to live in joy and happiness. It doesn't always happen, but from what I've been seeing with night terrors, again, nothing scientific that I'm telling you or diagnosing. It's just from personal experience and what I have been seeing in the research I've been doing.
I'm thinking a lot about that. It's pretty fascinating, and I wish I had, more memories about it. But anyway, thank you for that, because that made me understand a little more about Aaron's little experiences as well. Can I? Rachel again says something more
interesting. Is that it?
Interesting, yeah. Okay. My daughter started Rachel says, my daughter started doing it once they moved to a different home. Scary thing is that she lives near the highway. She goes outside of her house during the night. Yeah. I can see that being
I have seen people that have security cameras in their home, and they can't figure out why they've gained 40 pounds and they've been dieting and exercising all day. They put the security cameras in and they get up every night and eat like practically so much food. And they don't even remember doing it. I'm serious.
Wow.
I've seen people go outside.
I'm laughing because I was wondering why I'm gaining 3 or 4 pounds after losing so much weight. Yeah.
Well, how devastating. You've had so much willpower and you're exercising and doing everything right, and you're not losing the weight, and you can't figure out why.
And
right?
Here you are eating.
I would think though, you'd go in your fridge and you'd go, where did that go? Like, that was in there last night. And you ask everybody in the house and nobody's eating it. And after a while,
and I don't know, and they're probably saying, well, you're not telling me the truth. You're eating all the food. Yes. Oh, and Sue Vinicombe above that says
that one. Yeah.
Yes, my daughter used to sleepwalk and turn every light on in the house, then go back to bed. Wow. Yeah. Yes.
It's hard to say what the reasons why are, and if most people don't remember sleepwalking, and then there's supposedly the myth that when people are sleepwalking, they say never to wake them. I think you could wake them if you can get them to wake up. That's the problem, right?
And I don't mean to talk. Well, I can talk about this because Erin, again, when she was sleeping walking at age 2, I could hear her in the kitchen, and I went to the kitchen. She had a knife out.
Oh dear God!
So I tried to take it from her gingerly, but she woke up and started crying, But why would she take a knife? That's kind of crazy.
But what was she thinking about in the dream, right? And I saw Kat. Well, she could be tapping into past lives. You don't know what she's picking up in the dream state, right? Like Kathy said, I used to sleepwalk. I was told later in life that it was from overwhelming stress. That, like, somebody I saw mentioned that their child started sleepwalking when they went to a new home. Yes, stress could also. Some people eat certain things and it causes sleepwalking. Yeah. I know that for a fact. I've seen lots of people write, well, whenever I eat like something like dill pickles and cheese or something unusual,
it doesn't have to be unusual. It's just a trigger. Dill pickles and cheese was my favorite go-to food when pregnant. Isn't that weird?
No, I wanted to eat. I've never eaten it. Ever since with my first kid, Spam, that click or Spam in the can with cheese whiz. I can't even look at that stuff. And I knew I was pregnant, but even my blood test didn't come back positive. I knew I had to be because I never got up and ate that crap, and especially at 3 a.m.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't believe that the time is almost over.
I know. Went by fast. We got to get off of here because we got to go to a staff meeting.
Off, and I need to say hello and goodbye to everybody, and thank you for watching our show and being so supportive of us and of Paul and Joanna. Keep them in your prayers. We will update you as soon as we update. Please share the show. We love you, and I want to say, love everyone you can on this earth, because love is life, and life is love. And thank you. We are now having to shut down. Thank you for joining us today on United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. Thank you.
And I will tell you quickly, if any of you ever want to get a hold of me, you can get a hold of me on facebook.com/The Angel Rock. Thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, lovely to have you. Thank you for joining us today.
Oh,
watch your show Monday night,
thank
Angel
you.
Rock.
Thank you. All right,
Yes.
We'll see you soon. I'm going to sign us out right now. Take care,
Thank
guys.
you.
Take care.